Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly. Along with Cindy, I'm Lyle. And tonight, Mike Greenwell. Welcome to Catfish Weekly.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
All right. How's yourself?
Well, we're a little damp up here, but not too bad. I understand you're getting some moisture down your way, too.
Yeah, a little rain,
Well,
Hopefully it's not a full washout, but
we haven't had any washout weather, but it's rained all day. So I guess that's what we need. How's the river down your direction?
she's still pretty high. She's still pretty high.
Pretty high.
Supposed to be on a downward fall, but we got this rain coming. We'll see. They'll probably change the prediction.
Well, you never
They
know.
always do.
This time of the year, it can change in a day or it can change over a long period of time. You just never know. So we'll just have to play it by ear. Have you been out doing any fishing?
It's been a couple weeks since I've been out, but when we was out, we had a pretty good day.
We've
Pretty good weekend, actually.
been enjoying a lot of your videos you've been putting out, and the last one you done that I seen was a 3-part deal, I believe, with your dad, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's my buddy Jim.
Oh, your buddy Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was really a nice video, and you guys got a 3-part deal out of that, and caught some nice fish and had a good time.
Yeah, that part 3, the wind made it the audio kind of crappy, but the first 2 are pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to determine or fix that. I mean, there's some stuff that you can do with that, but a lot of it has to do with buying high dollar equipment and things, and a lot of that kind of stuff comes with time. And
yeah, that's exactly right.
But the stuff
I've reached out to a couple of GoPro Facebook pages and asked for some advice, and there's been some people helping me out, so I got some things in the works.
That's awesome. That's all you can do, because nobody can jump right in and buy all the stuff that they think they need right off the bat, because really, until you do it a while, you don't know what you need.
That's exactly right.
It takes practice, and you can't hide everything behind a windshield. But you've come a long way in a short period of time, and I enjoy your videos, and I've told a lot of people this, and one of the things that I like about yours, as well as a lot of other people, is they're not scripted. A lot of the TV shows, people don't understand. A lot of the TV shows are scripted. They write them out, and that's how they do them, almost word for word. And some of the YouTube stuff is done that way. Yours are real life, like a lot of the other guys that are doing stuff, and I think that those are better quality. They're more entertaining from my perspective than one that's drawed up and you go by a script. That's not nearly as entertaining as the way you do them, or at least from my outlook. I like the way you guys do them a lot better. And if something, you stick your finger with the hook, you just, that's part of the show.
That's exactly right.
I feel like that's more entertaining to me, at least the way I look at it, than doing it the other way.
Yep.
But how did you get started doing the video stuff, Mike?
Really, I just actually did it on my phone a couple of times just to try to get a takedown. That was the main thing. I just wanted to do it and try to get a takedown. And then it went from there, and it escalated to starting a page and just seeing where it goes.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now you're using at least one GoPro.
Yeah, I sometimes set up 2, but the other one I haven't quite got it figured out, so I don't use a lot of that footage.
I see. Do you have an external mic, or are you using the mic on the GoPros?
Just the mic on the GoPro. That's another thing I need to get, because I've had some comments, people asking, they're saying they can't hear me, so I'm gonna do the mic first.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's. Do you have a certain position that you mount your camera, or do you
I just put up. I got one of those little small tripods, and I just put it right up over the passenger side window.
Okay.
It seems to work pretty good there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you get good clear stuff. That works out really well. I've got some stuff that I should have mentioned to you before the show when we was visiting, and I never even thought about it. I have some lavalier mics that you can run off of a GoPro or off of your phone or anything like that. They come with all the adapters and stuff. And if you're interested, they're very inexpensive and they do a pretty good job. If you're interested, I can give you the names of them and you can contact these folks. I assume that they're still in business. I've used them on the show, but they don't do as good a job on doing this kind of stuff as they do off of a GoPro or a phone.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
The problem with them are they have a cord, and you have to be able to hide the cord. They work great with a phone. They work great with a GoPro if you have it mounted on your chest or helmet, hat, something like that. But if you have it mounted on your windshield or something like that, then you're moving around, you're going to run out. They have a long cord, but you're still going to run into trouble with that. That's not going to work. But if you have it mounted on a chesty or something like that, they would work fine. And they have a wind cover, so they get rid of a lot of noise.
Yeah, that's good. They pick up a lot of wind noise.
Yeah. In a boat, if the wind's blowing, you're going to get it. It just seems to me like that's just the way it is, because there's no trees around or anything like that to keep you from getting the wind. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, but they do come with all the adapters for phones and nearly any kind of camera that you could possibly want to use it with. So
yeah, I definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll give you all the information for it. Got a lot of people in here tonight. Got the Funkmeister in here, and Sonny Parker, Cat Hunter, Mike Lewis, Smoking Big Flatties, Jays, Mike Sampson, James Dockery. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Glad to see everybody in on the show tonight. Ernie Brown, Henry Mayer. There's Chrissy Brown, Maurice Kaysen, Dustin Fowl. They're really loaded up in here tonight, Mike. How much tournament fishing have you been doing?
I'm sorry?
How much tournament fishing have you been doing?
Well, last year I think we did more tournament fishing than we did fun fishing.
Now, I noticed that last year you done quite a bit, and I didn't remember you doing that much before.
That's I think last year we fished about every tournament we could, either here close or there was a few far away. But yeah, last year we really dug in and did some good tournament fishing.
Mm-hmm. You had some good events too.
Yeah, I think we won 4. We won like 3 of the small tournaments and 1 of the bigger tournaments. It was pretty good. Yeah, pretty good year for us.
That's awesome. And you actually, Stephen?
Yeah, Stephen, he's my main partner, and there's one guy that's Smoking Big Flatties. Stephen couldn't fish one tournament, so he jumped in a boat with me, and we got him his personal best that day, and we won the tournament.
Well, great. That's awesome.
We had big fish, so we smoked it that day. We did good.
Oh man, and how far are you traveling when you're making these tournaments?
We've been pretty much Leavenworth to Shawneetown. Leavenworth, Indiana to Shawneetown, Illinois.
And that's how big of a spread?
That's probably about 100 miles or so.
It's all on the Ohio River?
Yeah. I don't do much away from the Ohio River at all.
Okay, now are you doing any lakes at all?
No, we don't really have any good lakes here. We got that one that when the river rises, it gets pretty good out there. But really, we don't have anything good. I got a bunch of bass lakes if guys want to bass fish. But
yeah. Well, you can't use them for bait out there, so
right. Ain't no fun in that.
I get tickled. These guys, James, Patriot Catfishers of America, I get so tickled at him. He's allowed to use bass and crappie and stuff for bait out there where he lives, and I can't. And I think it's funny that they're allowed to use them and we're not. And he was talking here a while back. He caught a great big old catfish, and he caught it on a big largemouth bass. And I'm thinking, man, if they would just let me do that. But these guys, Lake of the Ozarks is the number one sport fishing lake in the United States. It's the number one tourist lake in the United States. And if they caught you using a largemouth bass for bait, they would just hammer you around here. But if it was legal, believe me, I'd be doing it. They won't let you in.
I think we could use them here if you catch them of the legal size, but
right. Well, they
don't let everybody see you. They get all mad.
And I love to eat crappie. They're not fun to catch for me. I mean, you got to use such a wimpy old rod to catch them on. There's no fun in catching them. They're great table fare, but I don't see any entertainment in catching them. And bass is kind of like that too. But if you could figure out how to get them, but you can't use those for bait either. In Missouri anyhow. So I just don't fish for that stuff.
Yeah, if it causes for a little bit of finesse, I'm out.
Well, you know what?
I'm not very good for that.
You and I talked the other day when we done our test run that about the skipjack fishing. And some of the best skipjack fishing in the world used to be at Cumberland City. And I've been to Kentucky Dam and the other place that's right there close at the lake. But we used to make trips down there every year and get lots of bait. Now, we get a few skipjack in Missouri, but I never find out about them biting until after they're done, because if
right.
They don't tell you until after they get all they want, then they usually quit. But we used to make trips down to Cumberland City, and that was great fun to go down there and get your bait or a bunch of it for the year. But it's a trip, and it takes some time, and usually 2 or 3 days, and you go down there and get your bait and freeze it up, and as long as you take care of it good, it's pretty productive. You can't really do that with shad. It doesn't keep as well. I mean, you can do it if you're not going to keep it for a long extended period of time, but you can keep skipjack for a long time if you flash freeze it and then vacuum seal it. It'll stay good for quite a while, but shad and stuff like that, it doesn't stay good very long. And I've never done moon eye that way, so I don't know how long it would stay. But skipjack is a hardier fish. It's bigger and got better bone structure, and it just seems to me like it just preserves better.
It does. That's my partner, my regular partner, Stephen. He was so against using any kind of frozen bait for a tournament. Well, I went out the day before a tournament and I just struck out on bait, so we had to use frozen. We ended up winning that tournament, and I think I changed his mind on frozen bait.
We used to get the bait down there at Bass and Moore. Jim would get us that bait down there, and we'd always just get frozen bait, and it seemed to work as well a lot of times as the fresh stuff, and it was more available. It was easier to get. You didn't have to fight for it or none of that stuff, and we seemed to catch as many fish off of it as we did the other. Now, I'm not saying that fresh isn't better a lot of times, but when you got 900 people using bait down there in that tournament, I'm not sure that it made a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
But has anybody done anything down there since Jim and Sheila's closed up as far as getting you guys bait and stuff?
Well, there's a place in Owensboro, Imperial Lawn, actually. It's a lawn company, but he got a contract with, I believe, Carl Morris and them, and he does get some frozen in there. He's out right now, but
right. Well, there's a lot of people
last year
down there.
Last year at Monsters, he was taking orders, and he had some for Monsters.
Well, that's good. There's just a lot of fishermen down there, and somebody should be doing that. I would have to think.
There's another guy that's out of Carlsville, Illinois, Blackout Bait and Tackle, John Ritchie. He's just started a bait shop last year, and he's growing pretty quick. So
good.
He's going to try to get some frozen in for supply people.
And that's not too far from where you guys are all at?
Nah, about an hour away.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. A couple of you get together and go down there and pick up a bunch, and
Right.
you'd all be in there pretty quick then. All right. That'll be pretty good. Let me see if I can get us loaded up in chat, and let's give away some stuff. What do you say?
Sounds good.
All right. Pick me out a number between 1 and 5, would you please?
We'll go with 2.
All right. 1 and 2. And the winner is Catfisher Stalkers Outdoors, Captain Greg Olala.
Well, there you go, Greg.
Heck yeah, I know Greg real well.
Me and Greg and his son fished monsters 2 years ago, I guess it was.
Sounds
we did pretty
right.
good. We got 12th place.
Pretty
You
cool.
talk about fun fishing. Those dudes are fun to fish with.
Oh, I'll bet. Greg's a great
That freaking they're awesome.
Heck yeah. Greg, after the show, send me your shipping address, and I'll get you a package of hooks out from a sponsor we have that is furnishing hooks with us, a new deal, and we're going to try them out and give him a report and see if it's something we're going to continue to do. Thanks so much for watching Catfish Weekly. That's great. Yeah, Greg's been around doing this for a while, so that's pretty cool.
It was funny how me and him met. We became just Facebook friends, and he just messaged me before a Cabela's event down in Mount Vernon one day. He came out. He came in a couple days early, and he just sent me a message. Can you help me get some bluegill? And I know people all around here, so I made a phone call and got him hooked up with the guy, and they went and caught all kind of bluegill.
That is, that's my other favorite thing to catch is bluegill. Them babies pound for pound fight as hard as about anything else.
Yes, they do.
They really do. So I really like to catch them babies.
Oh, Greg, he knows I catch my own bait. I seen the question a while ago. He asked if I catch my own bait. He knows I do try to catch my own bait.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it is, but for some reason we get skipjack in Missouri on the Missouri River and the Ohio River, but we don't get them like you guys do down there. And I'm not sure why that is. But certain times of the year they stack up behind the dams. But not like they do down there. And I think it has to do with the steam plants and different things. But I know below the Alton Dam, at certain times of year, you can go in there with crickets and you can catch a world of fish down. Get a lot of fish down there with crickets. But I use crickets to catch moon eye a lot of times in the summertime too. But that's not my favorite way of catching them by far. I like to catch the old barge that's been sitting there for a long time and take a cast net, go in behind the back side of them and get them.
Right.
Moon eye. That's my favorite. Instead of getting them one or two at a time, sometimes you get 5 or 6 of them at a whack. And, if you can find them in there, you can get well real quick.
I remember I've only been fishing since late 2014, early 2015. I just never picked up a rod till then. And we was up there trying to catch bait at the dam one day, and I hooked into a monster moon eye, and I had no clue what it was. So, what is this thing? I didn't have a clue what that thing was.
We used to go to Cumberland City all the time, and if you get to catching them skipjack 3, 4, 5 at a time down there on them sabiki rigs, if them bass guys that ever get to doing that, they quit catching them bass and go after them. Them things going 3 or 4 different directions at the same time, pound and a half skippies. That's about as fun as small fishing gets. They are a blast to catch like that. I see Dieter Melhorn just joined us. How big do moon eye get? Mike, I don't know how big your moon eye get. I've caught some that weighed 3/4 of a pound. I don't think I've caught any much bigger than that.
Oh, I've caught some that's been close to 2 pounds.
Really, them some big moon eye.
Yeah, they get pretty big. I don't know if they're actually moon eye. They call them gold eye. Maybe I don't know, but
Right.
I know they get big.
Yeah, they're great bait up here. I really like them in the summertime. They work really well. You catch them a lot of times in rocky areas, behind dams, stuff like that. I like to catch them, like I say, behind an old an old Can you think of what I'm trying to say?
Happens to the best of us, huh?
Yeah, I know. But they'll be stacked up in there behind them old barges, and with the river flowing one way, get to the back side of the current. And if that barge has been sitting there a long time, you can throw that net. And a lot of times they'll be stacked up on the back side of it. And if they're in behind them barges, you can throw and get 5 or 6 at a time, and you can wait and throw it again and just let it sink all the way down till you run out of rope, and get 3 or 4 to 6 or 8 at a time. And pound, 3/4 to a pound. A lot of times, and Mike's talking about 2-pound ones. I don't think I ever did get any that big, but man, they work really, really good in the spring and summer for big cats. Work real good.
I seen a question go by. I'm in southern Indiana.
Oh, you live in Indiana?
Yes, I'm
okay.
just over the bridge.
Evansville,
yes.
Evansville, okay, cool, awesome. Good deal. I wasn't sure. I knew you lived around Owensboro somewhere, but I didn't know exactly where. So that's how far is that from Owensboro?
Probably 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not.
They got that bypass over. You can make it in 45 minutes.
Yeah. It's not too far.
They keep them boat ramps clean over there.
Yes,
so we do a lot of traveling over there to use them boat ramps.
Oh, I bet they got a beautiful facility over there. That's for sure. Yeah, you're right.
Around here, they sure don't clean the ramps. You got to keep a shovel in your truck.
Oh man, what's that?
Clean many a ramp.
What's that one below Owensboro there? Before you get to Angel Mound, is that it?
Well, there's on our side of the dam we got Angel Mounds, but there's Little Hurricane up in Owensboro also.
Right, I'm talking about Angel Mounds. The last time I was down there, the mud was so thick I didn't even want to put the truck in there.
Yeah.
I thought, holy crap! I mean, I don't think they ever clean that.
That used to be my thing. If you want to go fishing with me, bring a shovel because we're going to need it.
Do they is those owned by the city, or is them owned by the conservation department?
They're owned by the city, but they contract them out.
Okay.
We used to have the same guys that did Dogtown and Angel Mounds here in town, but the Dogtown guys quit messing with Angel Mounds. But this past year, another guy took it over, and he's doing a really good job.
Oh, okay. Well, like I say, the last time I was down there, it was I wouldn't put the boat in there. I wouldn't put the truck in there.
The guys before, they left the dock out, and the water came up, and it broke the dock. New guy, he came in and he built a new dock. He's keeping it up pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Now, in Missouri, a lot of times they'll, like Clarksville, they take and split that up with the conservation department, and the boat club actually owns that ramp, but they can't really afford to maintain it anymore. So the conservation department maintains it. So basically they both own it. But there's a lot of city-owned ramps and county-owned ramps now that the conservation department, but the conservation department is a separate entity from the state in Missouri, which I think is a good deal. And they maintain a lot of the ramps, which gives them control of what happens at them. And in all reality, that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Some things I agree with and some things I don't, but that's with anything, including seatbelt laws and speed limit signs. You know, you know what I mean. You're not going to agree with anything that somebody's telling you what you can and can't do, but overall, they keep the boat ramps pretty cleaned off. They've got trucks and backhoes or whatever type of equipment they use to clean off ramps, and I've seen them down there with graders, and they just push this stuff off. Of course, as soon as the current hits it, it's gone. But Missouri is really good about cleaning most of their ramps off. Sonny says the Nebraska ramps are about half gone from the flood.
We got one ramp that's just above Angel Mounds. It's in Newburgh, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, it won't open until probably July.
Oh wow!
They just don't clean it off until the river comes down and stays down.
They just won't go in and do it.
They just won't touch it until the river comes down and stays down the pool.
Oh wow, that's too bad. That's too bad. And you know, that's just punishment for the people that want to use it.
Right, and they still get people that they line up to buy the season passes.
Wow.
Like, wow, you're not even going to use it. Come 5 miles down the road and use Angel Mounds.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's too bad. It really is. So I don't understand it, but as long as people still buy them, I guess that's what they'll do. I'm not seeing any comments or questions. You guys got any questions for Mike about how he fishes or what kind of equipment he uses or anything like that? Go ahead and send them in, and I'll try to keep up with them here. And if you've posted anything and I've missed it, post it again, because Cindy's in the other room tonight, and I may or may not catch them all. John Patrick would like to know what kind of rods and reels and stuff that do you use?
For drifting and anchoring and dragging and all that, I'm a TWC guy, and Abu Garcia. For the bumping, I use the B&Ms and Abu Garcia.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with that B&M bumping rod. I like that thing. I can't wait to get my hands on a new one. They supposedly got a new one out.
Awesome. Michael Pence wants to know, do you bump, drift, or anchor?
All the above and different types of water conditions.
It just depends on what time of year and how the water is. Yeah, I understand.
If I can bump, I'm bumping.
Yeah. It seems to me like that would be limited on the Ohio River down there, because a lot of times they're just every time I'm down there, there's rarely enough current down there to do that.
Yeah, I always take the bumping rod and always take the other rods too, just in case. If I do find a little current, I'll bump it until they shut it off.
Right.
Then we'll just drift it.
Now, I guess if you get behind the dams, you can probably get enough current a lot of times to do that. But
a couple hundred yards, you can get in there and bump.
Maurice Kaysen wants to know if you use braid or mono.
I'm a braid
Me
guy.
too. That's right, man. That's good stuff right there. Planer boards?
I do use planer boards. I don't use them as much as I should, because when we got dead current, I need to be pulling them boards. But when I use them, I catch fish. But I just don't use them as often as I should.
Yep. I dearly love planer boards, and I usually, if I'm down around your neck of the woods, I usually am using them. Like I say, a lot of times when I'm down there, for some reason, there's rarely current. Now, the last couple of times I was down there was good current. But I've been down there a lot of times when there was just none. And
that's why I like coming on down and locking through. It seems to be a little more current down here than it is in Owensboro.
Well, when I go to Owensboro, I've fished that 2 or 3 years in a row, that Owensboro pool, and I don't stay there anymore. I shoot on through. I just don't. Sonny Parker wants to know what kind of hooks are your favorite set, and what's your favorite setup?
I'm a Gamakatsu guy. I like them Gama hooks. I like them a lot. And
circle hooks.
Yeah, the circle hooks. And I'm just a regular Carolina rig. Got the sinker slides. I don't get too fancy.
Yep. Ugly Frog, Mike, what's your favorite cannonball rig?
I don't really know what a cannonball rig is.
I don't either. The only time I use a cannonball is when I'm bumping. I use a cannonball sinker when I'm bumping a lot of times because they make such a bigger footprint when they hit. I believe you can actually feel the bottom better with them. But I still use a bank sinker sometimes. I used them for years and got along fine with one of them. My Red Festiva wants to know, what size hooks do you use?
The Gamakatsus are eight outs, I
Aughts?
believe. Yep. I haven't had an issue with them yet.
Somebody there's going so fast now. I lost one. Let's see. How close are you to Racine Lake and Dam?
I don't know where that's at. I'm closer to the Newburgh Dam and JT Myers Dam, if that helps them.
Okay. Thanks for stopping by tonight, Mike Chavez. Mike Greenwell, do you freeze your chicken livers or let them bake in your milk? Oh, Dieter, you're terrible. Kentucky Catfishing wants to know if you prefer lakes or river. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, it's river all the way for me.
Yeah. Catfish and Crappie would like to know, what is your favorite time of the day or night for you to fish?
I'll fish in the day if possible, but when it gets hot, I'll be out there at nighttime. I don't really have a favorite.
Does that have to do with being a full-figured guy?
I believe that would be it.
That's the way it is with me. I like to fish in the daytime too, but when it gets hot and I'm pretty full-figured, I like to fish at night because it's cooler.
That's exactly right.
Sonny Parker wants to know what your personal best is.
My personal best blue cat is 46 pounds, and my flathead is 44.
Pretty close.
I got to bust that 50. One of these days, I'm going to bust that 50.
Well, you can do that down there. Personal question of mine that I usually ask river fishermen, do you like fishing below the dams?
Well, I used to not, but this past year I went up there and I caught a couple good fish, so I kept on going back, and I kind of got a love for it now.
Yeah, I love.
I still got some spots downriver that I just can't stay away from, the deep ledges.
Right.
But
I love fishing the dams on the Mississippi rivers. The problem with that is certain times of year, and after floods and stuff, of course, you can't do it. But the Mississippi doesn't have the sharp bends and a lot of the drop offs and ledges and stuff like you got down there, because yours is going, all over the place, and you got a lot of that kind of stuff to do. But there is some ledges and drop offs and things on the Mississippi. But my theory about dams is they're the biggest piece of structure on that river.
Right. And
there's always seems to be fish in there. So that's one of the reasons I like to fish them. But I missed another question. Dang it.
I see Greg. He asked what tournaments I plan on fishing this year. Okay. We're signed up for Monsters. We're signed up for the Twisted Cats, Owensboro, and I think I'm gonna go to the Alton, Illinois. I'm gonna fish that with Terry Rogers.
That'd be fun. Terry'd be a good guy to fish with. Yeah,
we fished the one on Kentucky Lake last year, whatever that was called. I can't remember now, but we fished that. We had a blast. We caught 5 small fish, but we had a blast.
Michael, I have been below that Keokuk Dam, and I probably won't go back up there. You really need to know what you're doing, and I haven't been up there but a time or two, and I was with somebody that knew what he was doing getting up in there, and them big old boulders and stuff. that's a good way to tear up some things if you don't know what you're doing. And I probably wouldn't go up there unless I was with someone that really knew what he was doing and that I trusted 100%, because I don't want to tear up my stuff or somebody else's. But that's a great place to catch some good fish up there. There's a lot of good fish being caught below that kick up there. Does anyone know if they have found the fishermen missing on Pickwick yet? I have not heard that they have found them, Sonny. Mike, have you heard about any of that?
I've heard about it, but I haven't heard if they found anybody.
Yeah, last I've heard, they haven't found anyone yet. So I know I think they found the boat, but I don't think they found any of the guys yet.
Hey, a guy from work jumped in. What's up, Max? I had Max out with me one time this year. We got a video. He caught a 15-pounder, and gosh, he thought that was a huge fish. Nice to see you on, Max.
To a lot of guys, 15-pound fish is giant.
You know, when I first started, I could not wait to catch that big fish. I was stuck on 15 for probably a year, and I could not wait to catch that first big fish. When it finally happened, my chest was poked out. I thought I was the man.
That's right. That's right. Well, most people, I believe that most people start out fishing in farm ponds, and until they get to a river-sized catfish, they think a 5 or 6 pound fish is a giant. Which there's nothing wrong with a 5 or 6 pound fish. I'll take those any day because they are a blast to fish. But once you catch a 10 or 20 pound or anything in between there pound fish, and you realize that there's bigger than that, and once you catch a 20 or 25, that's the stepping stone to bigger things, because at that point you know that there's a lot bigger ones after that. And you just can't wait to get the next level, and once you get to 20, then you want a 30, and then you want a 40, and then a 50, and then a 60, and at some point you got to have 100, and some people never get them. I've never got one. I think that's everybody's dream, is to catch 100-pound fish. Some people get it, some people don't. I've never caught a 70-pound fish. I think that would be a blast. But we fished tournaments so hard for so long, it wasn't about catching a number, it was about winning.
Right.
For us, it wasn't about catching a 60-pound fish or an 80-pound fish. We just wanted to be in the money, to cover some of the expenses, or to get a check, or to basically get that trophy. But I know for a lot of people, they will never be happy without a 100-pound fish, or without an 80-pound fish, or without a 50-pound fish, or whatever the number is in their mind. But for us, it was always about winning. Everything was about being first. And that kind of went away for Cindy and I in the last few years. It's just about having a good time. And we figured out a few years ago, the good times are at the motel parking lots and at the restaurants.
That's right.
That's where the funds are at. That really is.
That's where we're really going to miss Bassmore, because you guys used to come down to Bassmore and set up shop, and we all just hung out. Brandon was grilling burgers.
Oh my God, Mike, that was one of the most fun things every year. It really was, and we will miss that. We really will. We'll miss that a lot, and I'm sure everyone.
Are you guys coming down to Monsters this year?
We haven't made a schedule out for this year, so whatever I tell you would be a lie, because I really don't know. We're looking at a lot of stuff, and we'll see what happens. Man, we made a lot of them down there. We should have went last.
Well, There is I don't know if you've seen any post about it, the Poor Boys Catfishing Trail.
I've seen
Some of the guys,
about it. Yeah,
a couple of guys around here have got together and put some stuff on, and they're doing a benefit tournament for a family. And I think that'd be pretty cool to check out. That's that was going to be August 29th at Angel Mounds Boat Ramp.
that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
I'm actually going to give away the 25th spot. I'm going to do a video and try to give away the spot in that tournament. And we was lucky enough to pay and get boat one. So
that's awesome. Yeah, when you get all that stuff done up, just post that on Catfish Weekly's thing, and I'll help you get that publicized where people can see all that. That was what made was the restaurant chat. You're right, John. That is 100% correct. Actually, the full figured come from all them cinnamon rolls and all that other stuff Cindy fixed me all them years. But man, we did have some good food over the years down at them places. Man, oh man. 105 is the number the Hoosiers are looking for. Sonny Parker wants the state record. Michael Pence just wants 5 fish. Oh, man. Do you ever catch a big fish and say, well, that is big enough?
I'd have to say no on that.
Yeah, I'd have to say no on that too. Yeah, I just can't see that. I remember some good times when I watched Cindy catch fish, and I wondered if she could actually get them in the boat by herself or to the boat by herself, and she always managed to do it. One of the times I seen her catch a carp one time when she was pregnant and about to have a baby, and she wouldn't let nobody help her, and that rod was mounted up on top of her, and she's reeling that thing up over her feet in the water, but she wasn't going to let nobody help her get that thing in. And but it was an old carp, but she got it in by herself, but years and years ago. But she's always been able to get anything in the boat. When we started fishing, when she started tournament fishing with me, I thought it was a joke. I never thought that she would ever last fishing tournaments, but she always liked to fish. But I didn't think that she would like tournament fishing. But the first one, she was hooked. So it just worked out. John, you're right. I've been very fortunate like that because she turned out to be one of the best tournament fishing partners that anybody could ever have, and she's very good at what she does. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, you should. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, and she shocked me a few times when she says we needed to go to this spot and this spot. Nothing you're doing is working, and I go to them places and we catch fish. I would bet. But sometimes you got to listen, and
that's right.
that's just how it works. But first tournament is Saturday. Good luck, Sonny. But yeah, that's right. When you fish your tournament, your partners, you always give them an opinion, or do you just usually?
Oh yeah,
in the boat. Yeah, I do too. And if we
me and Steven, I think there's a meme out there that shows two guys going crazy on your phones. That's me and Steven a whole week before a tournament. We're blowing each other up.
Yeah, I think that whether you have 2 guys to a team or 3, I think it needs to you need to have you need to sit down and decide amongst the team members, whether it be 2 or 3, and make an intelligent decision, and everybody agree on where you're going to go, make a planned attack of how you're going to do, and have an A, B, C, D, or a 1-2-3, however you're going to do it on your attack on game day, and stick to it. One of the biggest things that has bit me in the butt has been last minute changing my game plan. Has bit me a couple of different times, and I won't do that again. If we just make a decision the night before a tournament, that's the way it'll be on tournament day. I've changed my mind at the last minute, and boy, it cost us a couple times. And like I say, if there's 2 guys on your team or 3 guys on your team, everybody needs to get together and they need to be on the same page. And
that's what me and Steven, we get asked a lot how, because we do well together. We do really well together. A lot of guys ask, and it's because if we make the bad decision, we made it together. If we made the good decision, we made that together also.
That's exactly right. And that way you're not blaming one or the other, and everybody agrees. So you take the beat down or the accolades together, however it works out, that's how it works out. And no blame. It's just, hey, we decided together, we fished together, we worked together. It's a team sport, and we either done good together or we went down in flames together. However it worked out, that's how it is. But yeah, I've bloated a couple of times over the years, and Cindy'd say, you had a plan and you changed your mind at the last minute. And I just knew in my heart that it was the right decision at the time, and it wasn't. But, it is what it is. So you just quit doing that,
Right.
But, well, you learn from them kind of mistakes, and you do better.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I haven't done it for a little while. Hopefully won't do it again. There's Doc Lang, Skip Stewart. You
I seen it.
Go ahead.
Seen a question go past a while ago. Somebody was asking if I used a fish finder. I just use an old Hook 7 Lowrance.
Hook 7.
It does good for me. Heck
yeah.
They don't have no side scan on it, but it works. I got the down scan. It works good for me.
Down scan works great. If they show you exactly what's underneath of you. The old ones, the older units, they still work. They're just not as fast as the new ones. The processors don't work as quick. It's not that they don't show you quality information. They're just not as fast. And a lot of people think that you got to have the biggest and best. When they come out with these 1198s, 998s, and the comparable Lowrances and stuff like that, that's when a lot of people got behind. They didn't want to spend the money on those. But once they did and figured out how far behind they was from the older units, and now that they've come out with the Helix and the new Lowrances and stuff, they've stepped it up, but the difference wasn't as much as it was before. But every year the technology is better and the quality is better. I don't know if it'll ever end. I don't think it'll ever stop. At this Panoptics and the 360 imaging and all this stuff, it all makes a huge difference to tournament anglers. It all makes a huge difference to serious guys that want to go out and find the bigger and better, more important stuff. But does it mean you got to have it to catch fish? Well, no, because I didn't know what kind of stuff you had, but I watch you go out in every video you make and you're still catching fish. So no, you don't have to have $5,000, $6,000 stuff because you're still catching fish. And in my tracker, which we use, I've got an 1198 and a 998. They're sitting right here on my shelf because I don't leave my electronics. I know guys that leave them on their boat all the time. Mine when my boats come off the water, that's the first thing I take off the boat is my electronics. Whether if that Alumacraft, that Helix has a spot underneath the back seat and it lives there unless it's on the boat. And when I come off the water in it, that piece comes off and it goes underneath the seat of that truck. I will not leave that stuff on there for more than one reason. One, I don't want to get stolen. I don't want to take that beating all the time. It's going up and down the road.
Right.
That's just my preference. And I do the same thing with my older units on our tracker. I take them off and they come in the house and they go up on the shelf in the shop. I see no reason for them to get beat up and stay out in the weather and all that stuff. That's just me. So,
and I think the most important thing that I put on my boat was that iPilot trolling motor.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, that thing that changed the way I fished. I mean, that thing just helped me so much. I'll spend the money for that.
They're worth every penny. The remote control for a trolling motor is one of the most handy things that a guy could have that drags bait. Because precision. They got the north button. It's the directional button. You head it direction. You don't have to sit there and do it unless the wind throws you off course. There's just so many things that we have now that we never had it before. That's right. Cat Kings, protect your equipment. That's exactly right. The stuff will last a long time if you take care of it. Now, I don't have an Altera. I could have had one when we got this Alumacraft, and they just come out with them, and I thought, well, I know what that Tarova is. I know what it does, and that's why I got it. So, I can still raise them up and down. and I know guys that's forgot and had some problems with them. So I was okay with that. But if I would do another one, I probably would get one now. They've been out long enough. I think they got the bugs out of them now. But they're great. No, they're all great. I mean, they're all good. But I know that the new ones, all of the new trolling motors, lock down solid and stay put a lot better than the older ones did. They really
got to answer a question on here.
Okay.
Somebody asked what software editing do I use. I love getting that question. So I use an S7 Galaxy mobile phone.
And you do all your editing from your phone?
I sure do. It's got a great editing app in the phone, and it cuts it and trims it, and then I do use the Power Director to put it all together and post it on YouTube. That's
amazing because I don't do nothing on my phone. I don't hardly ever answer messages on my phone. Rarely, just rarely, because I just don't like using phones for anything that stuff. I do most everything on a computer, and there's a million editing programs for editing videos, and there is some extremely quality ones that are free now. You don't have to.
That's when I first started doing it, I wasn't sure about I didn't understand how to do it on a laptop or anything, and I had that phone. So I just started playing with the phone, and I'm just safe with it.
Dieter. I am not the one that does not return phone calls. So there's that. For those of you that don't know, Dieter Melhorn is in the house. And if you haven't checked out Dieter's videos and his podcast, you ought to run over there and check out Dieter Melhorn Fishing. He's a buddy of mine, good friend. I consider him a buddy. He might not consider me one, but he does some wonderful things for the sport, and he's a pretty cool guy and got some really good videos up. So check out Dieter Melhorn Fishing. Kentucky Catfishing also does editing on an iPad, has got some good videos out too. Check him out. Sonny says his phone doesn't work half the time. Oh, Sonny. Sonny, we're all glad that you're feeling better and you're back to work. Glad to see that. Wednesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, Patriot James will be on. Be sure, he's on YouTube. Be sure to check him out. He'll have some interesting stuff on there and probably a guest this week. So be sure to check him out. Carl Dieter has got an open invitation. All he's got to do is tell me when he would like to be on the show. I've made him some different offers. If he'd ever call me back, I'd like to talk to him about them. But, seems to me like Dieter's too busy to talk to old Lyle. So we'll see if he ever calls me back or not. It's only been 3 or 4 weeks since I called him. So we'll see. But I know he's working. Busy guy like him running in professional videography jobs, it's kind of tough for him to work us little guys in. So we'll see. Yes, he does, Greg. You're right. He does. He makes some great videos. Sure does. So, Mike, you got some cool videos coming up?
I do. The next couple of videos, I don't know how people reacted to the 3 parts, but the next one, I can break it up or I can just let it run because we caught some pretty good fish. We probably caught 5 in the 20s.
Nice.
And I think it was a 29 fish day total. So that's going to be a pretty action-packed video.
That is cool. Good deal.
At one time, I think we had 3 triples.
Oh, man. Now, do you notice that you get a lot more people watching your videos when they're shorter or medium length or longer?
Medium length, I think. About the 12 to 15 minute, usually pretty good for me.
Okay.
Anything longer than that, I think people just get kind of tired of watching.
Right. It's not like TV. It's not, but to find catfishing content, you almost have to go to YouTube because there's not enough catfishing stuff on television to justify it. Even with Chris coming out with a show, that's still not enough to satisfy everybody. There's just not enough on there. And the way they work these shows, we was asked about doing a show twice from 2 different television, and they want to charge you, and then you sell out the advertising. And I didn't know enough about doing that to do it, and it's very expensive to do it. And I turned both of those down 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't know. You got to know the right people to be able to sell that kind of dollars worth of advertising. And I did not, or I didn't think I did. So we left it alone both times. But it takes a lot of money to do that. And I just don't see how you could come out on it.
Hey, Mike Lewis, I hope you got any more questions on that bump and give me a holler. But I sure hope you get out there and catch you one bumping, buddy.
Just remember, Mike, when that fish hits, it's trying to take that rod away from you, and you're trying to keep it in your hand so he don't. Well, thank you, James. Glad you enjoyed it. That's called a time buy. You buy the time slot. That's right. Yeah, and I'm not Dieter, I think I'm too old for that crap. I'll leave that for you young pups. All right. You guys got any more questions for Mike? Thanks, Lisa. Lisa Hill caught some pretty nice fish this weekend in a tournament. Thanks, Eric. What areas do you bump on lakes and rivers? Ken Smith.
Well, we fish I mostly fish the Ohio River, so it's when we got good current, you can bump just about anywhere. But we try to stay within the ledges and wherever there's a good current seam.
One thing you have to understand, folks, when you're bumping, you have to be in current. You can't bump unless you're in current. So, and I think you got to have at least one mile an hour or more.
Yes.
All right. Well, folks, we've been on about an hour. I don't look like we have any more questions for Mike. Glad you all enjoyed the show tonight. Mike, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Being in here tonight. Tell everybody where they can go to see all your videos.
It's just Mike Greenwell on YouTube. You can put in Greenwell Fishing or Mike Greenwell. That should pop up.
That'd be great.
If you can't find it there, it's always on Facebook, Greenwell Fishing on Facebook also.
And a lot of times they get shared to Catfish Weekly, so you can be sure to check them out there. Thank you guys for stopping in and checking out Mike Greenwell tonight. Sonny, I have seen a lot of good blues been hammered here recently, so hopefully we'll be able to get out and get some. Now it's pouring down rain, so who knows before the next time be able to get out now. But we'll see. Glad everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Mike, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
See everybody next Monday night on Catfish Weekly.
Bye-bye.